Thanks, David. Kevin, you ready to do this, man?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really, really excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, excited. I think this is going to be a really fun topic to cover off on today. I think everybody will really enjoy this. Um, for those of you who don't know me out there, I run partnerships and business development at FaZe Clan, which is the world's largest gaming lifestyle brand. And I think this is going to be really fun to talk and dig into more about gaming entertainment, the future of gaming, and kind of how soccer and FIFA are really paving the way, for one of the most exciting pieces of IP in the space by far. So just to kind of jump into it, Kevin, let's just start with some background on you. How did you navigate your way to EA?
Yeah, so I've been at EA for about a year and a half now. Moved to Vancouver, in Canada, from New York at the very start of the pandemic, like literally 2 days before everything locked down. So I've never actually physically worked with any of my colleagues before, which has been really interesting and awful at times. But no, it's been great. Before EA, I was in New York for 7 years. I worked at Flipboard as David just mentioned, but also worked in a variety of different marketing roles. At brands, at agencies, and for some of the world's leading brands like Nike and Converse and American Express. Um, on the personal side of things, I'm a massive, massive soccer fan. Have played my entire life, played in college, had a comically short professional career, and we can talk about that later. But how I kind of got to EA from there is I learned that EA was, and specifically FIFA, was looking to grow the FIFA brand in North America. And so it was pretty much a no-brainer for me to really marry this, my passion, of soccer, and marry that with my profession. So it's been a great ride so far, and just extremely grateful to be doing what I'm doing.
That's awesome. I feel you on the starting a job in the middle of the pandemic. I did the same, and what's even weirder is meeting people in real life. Like you know them through the box, and then when you meet them in real life, you're like, ah, you're that tall, or ah, you're that short. It's hilarious. So let's kind of maybe like take a look back, and then we'll kind of talk about where we're at, and then we'll look into the future. So we'll start with kind of last year. So 2020 will go down as the greatest marketing challenge maybe in the history of our time. What was the biggest challenge for you guys last year? I mean, obviously you're starting a new job, number one, but then just everything that's going on in the world last year. How do you guys navigate that?
Yeah, this one's a tough one for me, I guess, or for us, or an interesting one because, for what was a really challenging year for most brands and people and society as a whole, for EA and for gaming, for digital entertainment, whatever it is, like it was a record-breaking year.
Yeah.
So it's quite the conundrum there between like that personal and professional piece, but. I think for us, at a time when like society and people, friends, family, like we're forced to be apart, what we saw was people were using games to come together, to use as a platform to connect, as a way to take those, physical interactions and enable them to happen, but in this sort of digital world. So um, and maybe I think the challenge, our challenge was a bit different from others. But I think one that was really tough for us was the disruption of like real world sports. I think that was probably a massive, massive challenge for us because so much of what we do is in our product, in our live service product is rooted in real world soccer. And when that went away, it was kind of like, okay, what are we doing now? Like, what can we do about this? If our product really mimics this physical experience, what do we do when that goes away?
Yeah.
So and now, as I said, like our product is essentially like this digital version of real world soccer. And so we said to ourselves, okay, like let's use that, right? Let's use our product to bring together the soccer community, bring together all of these fans so they can experience the thrill that they get from the sport, the feelings, the emotions that they get from it, or at least something close to that, and kind of use our product as a way to do that. So I think I'll give you one example of that. We put together, created this through our partnership with MLS, created this tournament called the EMLS Tournament Special, and it was this month-long tournament featuring, various MLS clubs and players from the league, and they were playing against each other, as they would in real life, but on FIFA. And it was this really interesting moment where like our product became sport, became the sport, and it gave people a reason to pay attention. And it was something that was hugely successful for us, and something we were super proud of.
Awesome. Yeah. I think one thing for people who don't know the space very well, I mean, 2020 is going to go down as the year that, gaming had its watershed moment in pop culture and mainstream culture, and really it crossing over from the idea of esports and gaming being really part of, the water cooler conversation where kids hang out with each other. I think that's something that's like really interesting, is that that's where kids and even adults are connecting, virtually nowadays. And that's been going on for years. And 2020 just accelerated all of that. Now, one thing I want to ask you about is your role there, North America facing, obviously, you have a product that 100 million people around the world play. Soccer is a global sport. So most of the time it's, how do we go global? You have faced the inverse of that. So from a, how do you grow FIFA and kind of in your current role? What are some of the things, like the challenges and things you're thinking about right now?
Yeah, I mean that's like the billion-dollar question. It's why I was hired, I think too. It was a realization from the business that, of course, soccer is the world's game, and it's FIFA is the largest sports video game in the world. But I was brought on to help grow our brand in North America and lock the growth in North America, and it's because of the growth of the sport here, and not just from a fandom perspective, but an engagement perspective too. There's this groundswelling of support that's forming in the States, and in Canada too, but we think of it largely in the United States. This movement is happening. We're at the very beginning of this soccer movement, and it's such an exciting time to be in the space, and to kind of be a part of that, to work within that, to align our product with that, to elevate it. That's just such an incredible opportunity for us, because when we think about the success of our products, it kind of goes hand in hand with the success of the sport. So if soccer grows in North America, FIFA should grow too. And I think, we think about less about like selling our product sometimes, and more about, okay, how do we grow the love of the sport of soccer in America? Because we should also see the benefit of that too when it comes to our business.
Yeah, you guys have done some amazing celebrity partnerships. We obviously have a relationship between FaZe and EA. I'll move my head for a second. We did a really cool in-game integration into FIFA, where we created a kit in-game, and then we ended up selling that in real life as well. So you guys have been, I think, to your point earlier, you had to pivot last year because real world soccer wasn't taking place. You did a tournament. What are some of the other things that have been working for you in that capacity?
Yeah, I mean, I spoke about kind of the emergence of the sport and the growth of that. And I think for us, one area that we've seen a lot of success with is through our athlete partnerships and kind of our player partnerships, and in particular with this emerging generation of American male soccer players. You think of players like a Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, Gio Reyna, people like that. There is this, like I said, this new generation of talent who are playing for the world's best clubs, who are playing in the best teams in the entire world. And, that's something that has never happened before. And it's such an exciting time to be a fan of the sports, because it feels like new. You feel like something's happening, and we want to tap into that, right? We want to promote that. We want to tell stories about that, and fans enjoy that sort of work. Fans enjoy that sort of content, or whatever it may be, and we want to continue to elevate that.
Does the U.S. stand a chance in the next World Cup?
Hell yeah. Well, I guess we got to get there first. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. But no, I think I'm super excited for the future of the sport here, not just at the national team level, but down to youth, down to the women's football and things like that.
Yeah, and on that subject of the future, you talked a lot about some of the things that are going to be important for you guys to achieve long-term success. What are thinking about emerging trends for a second? This is Brand Innovators. We're a community of marketers here. What are things in the space right now, whether it be gaming, we have NFTs, we have AR, VR. What are things that you're really excited about in the marketing media landscape?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, I guess it may be less of like a technology, but I guess it would be very unique to gaming. But I'm personally obsessed with this idea of like blurring and blending experiences between like digital and physical, like between our products and the real world, and in game and in your real life, and sort of playing with that and toying with that, and making you question, like, is this real life or is this in game? Because our product is become so advanced visually that, like, you can people I'll be playing, and my mom or my dad will be like, oh, what game are you watching? I'll be like, no, I'm playing FIFA, because it looks so much like the real thing. So and I think a really good example of this is the partnership we actually did with you guys, with FaZe. And so, as you mentioned, you can see the kit there. We developed, in partnership with FaZe, this bespoke soccer kit, and then dropped that in FIFA for all of our players to use for free. And it's been, one of the most successful kits in the game. And then the fact that you guys then took that a step further, right, and then produced the exact same kit in real life and made it available for people to purchase, and the kit sold out in like one day, something absurd like that. So I just love this example, because people, we're taking something from our game and bringing it to life in the real world, and vice versa, right, from the real world into our game. And I think that's such an exciting space to be in, because it makes us think, like, okay, like, what is our product actually? Or like, is our product our brand, or is our brand our product? I think
Yeah.
historically we've thought about like product as our brand. We create this video game, that people buy, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I think there's an inherent risk to sort of that sort of relationship with your customer, right? It becomes very transactional,
Mhm.
becomes depthless, lacks connection. So what we're learning is that there are these new ways for people, for players to experience the FIFA brand, outside of just picking up your controller and playing the game. And I think that's super exciting for us as a brand, and as we look to the future.
Yeah, the metaverse is such an interesting thing that's developing quickly. And, I completely agree wholeheartedly. I think, the eye-opening experience for me here thus far has just been that the communication in game that happens with people all over the world. You hear these stories about people who they only know each other by playing together. And then when they meet up in real life, it's this experience that's amazing because the connection formed in game. So that's really exciting to hear about. Now, I want to switch topics for a quick second, talk about diversity and inclusion. One of probably the most important issues of our generation, and something that we will be remembered by how we address this. Can you tell me a little bit about how you guys are thinking about this, how you're and actions that you guys are taking in the space?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's obviously massively critical.
Yeah.
I think over time FIFA has increasingly positioned itself and our brand as the world's game, and that's partly because soccer is the world's game. We're not just catering to a single audience in the US. We are the biggest sports video game in the world, so we have to satisfy and service players from everywhere, every part of the world, and that becomes a big challenge. But it comes with a massive responsibility, and a responsibility to not only take up global issues that impact our player base, but to we have a responsibility as a platform. The platform that we have, the millions and millions of players that make up our community. We have a responsibility to use that as this tool to take action, right, and to advance positive change, to be a place for people to have conversations and things like that. So these diversity and inclusion initiatives that we do, not just on FIFA, but in EA Sports and all of the other games at Electronic Arts, will continue to be a huge priority for us, in our marketing, in our products, and in our teams, in our company. And we've got a ton of work to do. I think that's the main thing. It's like we may be just scratching the surface with some of the things that we're doing, but we're not even close to where we need to be. And I think that's an exciting, opportunity for us, as we look to the future for not just FIFA, but for Electronic Arts.
Yeah, I think whether you're a publisher, you're a platform, you're a console, you're an organization like us, we all collectively have that responsibility. And I think we have a lot of work to do, but it's exciting to see the initial progress that's being made. So, hopefully more great news to come, and, not on a yearly, but a daily basis. So, just a couple more questions and then we'll switch to Q&A here. So, you talked about this at the beginning. So it's kind of amazing that you used to play professional soccer and now you work at EA. I mean, that's essentially the dream job.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And I'm insanely lucky and grateful, for the opportunity that I've had. Yeah, I'm mad about soccer, and both not as just a fan, but as a player too. And I've been playing FIFA since I was a kid. So I think it's yes, it's incredible to sort of marry a passion with your profession, but at the same time, I'm also a player. Like I'm also a customer of FIFA, and I think what that does is it gives you a unique perspective on the product and how your audience, how the audience that I'm marketing the product to perceives it, right? So I'm obsessed with soccer, and it's all I consume every single day. So like I know my audience because I am that audience.
Yeah.
And I think like having that perspective as a marketer is it requires a ton of work. Like for me, it's natural, it's organic, which is which is I think incredible, but also pretty rare. But it's super, super important to have that perspective of your audience and who you're selling or marketing your product to, and how it will be perceived. Because if you do that, if you understand them better, the greater resonance that your messaging, your marketing is going to have. But I think separate from that piece, I think just to be a lot of people on this call too who are working in soccer, I think right now to be able to work in this space and in this this environment is it's just so exciting. And we are truly, I firmly believe this, at the very beginning of what will be this cultural phenomenon and massive cultural movements, as we get into the World Cup of 2022, but more importantly in 2026. And to be a part of that, to kind of help grow the love of sport, to align our products and brands with that, is so exciting. And yeah, I can't wait.
I love it. Clearly what you're doing is working. You guys beat earnings in Q1. Congratulations there. And excited to see everything you're going to do. And obviously we have to go to the World Cup. So last thing for you on that note, what are you most excited to do when reality fully returns? We're almost there, I'm getting there, but what's the one thing you're most looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the borders opening so I can go home and see my family for the first time in over a year. So that's That's number one on my list. But number two is honestly just watching a live soccer match in a stadium again with fans. I think there's nothing quite like that sort of match day experience, and the growth of that, I think, in America too. To see some of the incredible experiences that we have in NWSL or in MLS and USL, whatever it may be. I just want to go back to that. I want to be back in that stadium, to be back around people who are passionate about something that I'm passionate about too. It's just a feeling like no other for me. So yeah, that's probably my close number two after seeing my family.
Awesome. I love it. Well, this has been amazing. We're going to switch to Q&A and address some of the questions for the audience. Just feel free to fire away any questions you have in the chat, and we'll get to as many as we can. So first up is from Zach. How do you cater to the unique interests, needs, and desires of female gamers? We see an expansion of women's teams in game for male and female gamers to use, or will we see an expansion of women's teams within games?
Yeah, definitely. And to answer the second part, yes, there will be an expansion of that. It will be coming in the next few years here, so you can definitely count on that. But yeah, I think it's not a challenge. Like, it's more of an opportunity, because I think we see in our own product a large and overwhelmingly male sort of presence in our product, and I think it's largely due to this perception that only males can play video games, or males can play FIFA. And I think, again, going back to FIFA being the world's game, our product, a platform being the world's game, like, we have a responsibility to say, like, no, that's not correct. Like, soccer is for everyone, regardless of where you're from, the color of your skin, if you're male or female, whatever it is. And it's our responsibility to push that forward. And you will continue to see us do that, continues to see us invest in those areas, to elevate female gamers more, to break that stigma, I think, and to really create a more welcoming environment for everyone.
Yeah, and on the org side for us, same thing. Many of the organizations, but us in particular, like, it's a huge focal point for us moving forward is to elevate and promote female gamers and female creators in the space. You have the Valkyries of the world. We need more of those, and they're definitely coming. So another question for you here is, obviously we've entered next gen gaming experiences with PS5 and Xbox. What does that mean for FIFA moving forward?
Yeah, I think it means innovation, really. Like, it's Gen 5 has really enabled us to create the games and experiences, I think, that our developers have always wanted to create. And I think what you'll see from our product is, especially with FIFA 22 coming next year, it will be the most innovative FIFA ever. And I think that is enabled by the Gen 5 gameplay and game consoles. So it's a super exciting time for the industry, and it's the implications on our product will only service the needs and wants of our players even more than we've been in the past. We're insanely excited about it.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all we have today in terms of questions. If there isn't anything else, this has been awesome, man. It's been great talking to you. This is one of the most exciting ones I've done, and I definitely appreciate the time.
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate you having us. And yeah, if anybody has any other questions, just hit me on the side.
This was awesome, guys. Sorry, I just got a call from our team, and everybody's raving about how today went. I'm like, I gotta go. We're ending the program. This was fantastic. I'm more of a Madden guy than a FIFA, but like, you're convincing me. I think I'm gonna have to go grab it for the PS5 right now. But no, Kevin, this was fantastic. Adam, awesome, and thank you for wrapping our program on such an amazing note. I love it. We'll have you guys back again soon.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Thank you to everybody here on Zoom, streaming on YouTube. We're thrilled to have you with us today. Keep an eye out. We've got next month, our 10th anniversary, June 8th through 10th. We're going to have a C-Suite and Marketing Leadership Summit in lieu of our annual residency, in Cannes. And that's at the end of the month. And we hope to see you at all of our live casts and roundtables between now and then and beyond. So have a wonderful weekend, everyone.